Take a second to subscribe to Times of Wrestling Podcast on YouTube and hit that bell notification.
What's up, everybody? This is Times Wrestling Podcast here, and we are with Straight Talk Wrestling Podcast. This is going to be a special collab. We're going to be talking about everything about interviewing to the next about the card for AEW Dark. So, and if you did not, everybody, please go check out our recent podcast with David Ali from AEW Dark, and then our tips and tricks on how to make a podcast step by step. So, if you didn't check that out, please check that out. And now we're going to share our screen. So, first off, let me go here. We're going to – oh, wait, it's popping up. And then there we go. So this is Straight Talk Wrestling Podcast. They are a podcast with over 529 followers. And
on the road to 1,000.
Yeah, on the road to 1,000. So get them to that. They have a lot of posts, so it's perfect for content-wise. And, do you have any other – like a Twitter, a YouTube to shout out?
Absolutely, yeah. The YouTube page is Straight Talk Wrestling. The Twitter is _ Straight Talk. And if you kick it really old school, you can find us on Facebook at Straight Talk Wrestling.
Perfect. They have all types of social media. No Snapchat, right?
No, not really yet. I just got on TikTok, but still working that out.
Great. We don't. Yeah, I mean, we don't really see a lot of podcasts on TikTok, so that's a first from us to see. Wow. Yeah, everybody.
Yeah, considering how many like collabs we've already done or interviews we've done, that's the first we've ever heard about that.
Yeah, man. Everybody go follow his TikTok. What's your is it Straight Talk Wrestling, your TikTok?
Yeah, TikTok Straight Talk Wrestling as well. Yeah.
Guys, go watch it. I mean, this is the first I've heard of a podcast with a TikTok. So everybody, please go follow and let's go to this. This is actually our sponsors for today's video, our collab. This is DGW _show, which is Dummies Gone Wild show. They make the best skits for the people they love, which are their fans. And, they have a little saying that we like to say, if you're not following Dummies Gone Wild, then you are a true dummy. And to be quite frank, to all the viewers that are watching right now, if you're not following Dummies Gone Wild, then you are a true dummy. Like, seriously, come on, follow.
Yeah, I mean, like, they teach you how to act like dummies. And if you're not watching every single second, if you're not following, if you're not liking every single video, then you are seriously a true dummy.
Yeah. Listen to him, guys. Listen to him. And then we're just going to go to their site where they clearly state in all caps, just so you know it's serious. If you're not following or if you're not watching Dummies Gone Wild, then you are a true dummy. They have a gallery. They have news, countdown to the next episode, some pics of them, the gang behind the scenes, the divisions, and how to contact them, their emails. So definitely, I advise you to do that. And then we're going on to our final thing. We are going on to our account, everybody. So,
Get us verified.
Yeah, no. Yeah, that's a goal when we hit, like, a higher following, but, we hope for that. I don't know what to say. Most of you guys watching are following, but if you're not followed, then go follow, like, comment, subscribe to our YouTube down in the link below. Right over here, everybody. Right over here. Oh, God, I pressed on it. Dang it. Sorry, this page is...
That's our Twitter.
Yeah, go follow our Twitter, everybody. And, yeah, that's the end of the screen.
Underscore T... No, it's T_O_W_P.
Yeah, so everybody go follow it. Go follow me at Trent, and then, go... Just go follow us, guys, to know the latest.
At Trent.
Yeah, at Trent. So nothing too big. So we do. I think. Let me check. At 8 hours ago, they posted the card for Dark, which is pretty big. The first match, Jordan, can you pronounce her name? I really don't know how to pronounce it.
Kylan King.
Yeah, versus Diamante. Very big match. I think. Are they on tomorrow or on Dynamite?
I mean, Kylan King has been shown on a Dynamite against Nyla Rose, but she lost that one. But Diamante has a match, actually, against Eva Lise, who has also been seen in NXT and all over, and she has a 15-year career in the wrestling business. Diamante, however, she's been seen all over as well, also at a young age. And she was also in LAX, this stable or faction in Impact Wrestling a couple years ago, for all you guys who watched Impact Wrestling in like 2015, 2016.
Yeah, and then you have the Kip Sapien versus a new guy, Corey Hollis. You have...
No, actually, he's been shown a few times.
Actually? Wow, I didn't even know about that. You have why does it say? Yeah, you have Brandon Cutler and Peter Avalon versus Butcher and the Blade, and then you have Shida Hikaru versus Rochelle Chanel. You
Ricochet.
have Rochelle Chanel. Sorry guys. Robert Ego Anthony versus Darby Allin. You have Best Friends versus Brady Pierce and Sabi. You have Scorpio Sky versus Aaron Solo or Solo. Yeah, I think it's Solo. Start
Ricky Starks.
Ricky Stark versus True Will Hobbs, which is actually going to be on the podcast very soon. So going on to that, what are your thoughts on these matches? Is it George? It's George, right?
Yeah, it's George.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on all these matches? What's your favorite match to be on Dark?
You know what? I mean, I got to give it up to the Butcher and the Blade match. I mean, anytime Pepper Parks is on TV, I find it entertaining as shit. Can I swear?
No, it's perfectly fine, man. We're open.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so that's a match I'm always looking forward to. If you listen to my show, I'm a big advocate, a fan of tag team wrestling. I think tag team wrestling is something that kind of lost a step or two in the last five or 6 years, and it's starting to get a resurgence in all the companies. Impact, just at Slammiversary, if you just watch it this weekend, they literally stacked their tag team card right back up with the additions that they brought in. They brought back the Motor City Machine Guns. They brought back Gallows and Anderson are there now, the Good Brothers. So they just ramped up their tag team division after losing a couple to AEW and other promotions. So in terms of that match, I'm always on gung ho for tag team wrestling. I think it's a lost art form, and anybody that can do it right can do it well. And Butcher and Blade are no exception. FTR, AEW's got a stack card. I mean, you can't forget the Young Bucks. You can't forget Best Friends, Private Party. The list goes on and on. AEW has one hell of a tag team division. It's just a head scratcher for me that still two singles wrestlers that were kind of mashed together are holding down the whole tag team front in Kenny Omega and escaping me right now. There we go. Thank you. Hangman. And how they're helming the division, kind of a head scratcher for me because they're not a true tag team. And when I say that, I don't mean it as an insult. I just mean it as the fact that they are not built, bred, brought up together as a tag team like some of these other tag teams have been. So when you get two guys that are matched together, for example, would be 2 years ago in WWE, The Bar. You just threw Sheamus and Cesaro together. They were a great tag team, but not a true tag team, not a team that came up through the ranks together.
Yeah.
So, true tag team wrestling, I'm always a fan of, and I'm always an advocate to support for sure.
Yeah, going a little off topic.
Definitely.
Yeah, sorry, Jordan. I'll ask you in a bit.
Oh no, it was just a little comment in there.
No, I'm just saying I'm just gonna be talking and then I'll ask you. So
I got it.
So yeah, we're going a little bit off topic about what I'm about to say, but yeah, I mean that happens at a lot of teams, and this can also lead into maybe Hangman Page and Kenny Omega maybe breaking up. I mean they've never had the chemistry. I mean you saw FTR hanging out with Hangman Page and Kenny Omega going back and forth with FTR. And actually, I don't know if you watch it, but being the Elite, Hangman Page and Kenny Omega were arguing about it, saying, well, I actually have to agree with Kenny Omega on his side. I mean, somebody that just another tag team that disrespected you, you should not be hanging out with and having a drink with them, even if they're coming to watch a show with you. They're nice guys to you, but not to your tag team partner. You need to look at your tag team partners like in their perspective. You need to look in their eyes and say, you know what? Would I hang out with? I don't want to hang out with somebody that my tag team partner wouldn't hang out with, and that could also lead into maybe a breakup because the chemistry is not there, as we could all tell. Yeah. So Jordan, go ahead with your favorite match from the Dark card.
I mean, to be honest, I sort of just want to see in the women's division, Kylan King versus Diamante. I mean, there's other great matches on the card, obviously, but Kylan King, Queen of Crazy, taking on Diamante, who also goes crazy in the ring. I mean, two powerhouses in a ring, and I actually possibly another match would be Ricky Starks versus Will Hobbs. So I don't really have like one favorite; it's more like two.
Yeah.
So because Will Hobbs is another powerhouse, but then you see the side of Ricky Starks where he could do basically anything. Yeah, he lost his first match to the TNT champion Cody, but he put up one hell of a fight. And ever since then, he's just been winning all his matches on Dark. And now he's going against Robert Ego Anthony, another powerhouse who almost beat Jon Moxley on Dark I think a month ago. So I got to go with those two matches.
Yeah. I don't know if you're excited about this, George. I think you might be. But we do have an open challenge match on AEW Dynamite, which rumor has it, which I 100% believe and 100% agree with, and I 100% think is going to happen, that Matt Cardona is going to appear at Dynamite. I mean,
for the
it's been
TNT champion.
yeah, I mean, it's been rumored that he's going to be there. I mean, two open challenge matches, one with MJF, and
One with Cody.
Maxwell Friedman, and then one with Cody. I mean, it's bound to have somebody new. I don't think there's going to be two new guys, maybe. I definitely think there's one new guy. And what are your thoughts on this, George?
I mean, Matt's. Oh, sorry. Was that me or you?
Oh, no.
I actually don't know.
No, yeah, I was just asking. Jordan, you can go right after. George, I was just going to ask you for now.
Yeah, so I gotta say, I mean, Matt Cordero is a talent. He, aka Zack Ryder, for all of you who don't know his real name, he was a talent, never utilized properly with a lot of the undercard or mid card guys in WWE. So if he does show up there, I think it's an intriguing idea. I think that AEW can give him that kind of fresh breath air that he's been looking for. There was rumors that he was supposed to show up on Saturday at Impact Wrestling, did not happen, but we did see a lot of guys that were underutilized in WWE jump ship. Eric Young appeared. Rick Swann returned from injury. All these guys Impact picked up, they brought new life back into their careers. And Eric Young making his debut back home, it was a smart decision. There was nowhere else that Eric Young was going to go, especially in the twilight years of his career.
Yeah.
In terms of Zack Ryder or Macadera, he's a talent, and I think he can do well. Him and Cody have had some matches in WWE. They were kind of mid-card stinkers before the show type match, nothing exciting. So it'll be nice to see how they do now. I still think it's too early in his title reign for Cody to be losing the TNT strap just yet. But I think it's an intriguing match if he does show up. And then I would like to see exactly what Matt Cordero's character is going to be, where he's going to flourish, how they're going to work him. I mean, there's endless opportunities just where he could go after this open challenge with Cody. I definitely like to see him run a program with MJF. I think that would be awesome. MJF is hands down one of the best 100% pure heels in the game. So anybody that he mixes up with would be great. I also think matches like seeing, Matt Cordero go at John Moxley. Matt Cordero go at Kenny Omega in the singles, or even Adam Hangman Page in a singles. There's all kinds of opportunities for Matt Cordero to bring new life into his career. So if he does show up on AEW, I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, I think everybody is. Jordan, I know how you feel about this too, so I'm gonna ask you again. I already know how you feel about this, but please explain.
I mean, he hasn't really gotten the spotlight other than early in his career when he was a tag team with Brian Myers, or aka Kurt Hawkins. But he hasn't really gotten the spotlight that much other than being the Intercontinental Champion and like one or two times like WWE Tag Team Champion. And I just think with him being best friends with Cody Rhodes, I don't actually see him going in a match with Cody because they're friends, but that could possibly happen. I don't know. But I do think if he ended up in AEW, he would get a fresh start. He would probably become a champion. I mean, he's only 35, so he still has a couple years to go before he has to think about retirement. So I just think it'd be a fresh start for him, clean slate, because anybody who was in WWE before this and now is in AEW, they weren't treated as well as they should have been in WWE, and now in AEW they're starting to become rising talent, getting wins, getting championships, being put in the main event matches on Dynamite or Dark. So I just want to see him end up in AEW.
Yeah, I definitely agree with both of the things you guys said. I definitely think that it's I don't know if I'm gonna say possible. I'm definitely not gonna say it's 100%, but I'm gonna say it's over like 80% that he's gonna pop up. He, just like EC3, which he popped up not at Impact, but on a trailer for him going back to Impact. I do think it's possible because as like EC3, like I said before, he posted July 18th, which EC3 posted, which they are both. It's kind of weird. Both of their dates were when they were released or when they were allowed to wrestle again. So he did post that. We also knew that if EC3 did not pop up anywhere near Impact, and he was going to AEW. And if we also knew if Matt Cardona was not popping up at Impact, then we knew for a fact he was going to AEW. So I think Matt's going there. I agree with both sides. But going on to other things, I think that's really it from talking about the AEW stuff. Now I think we're gonna move on to what's it called? The interview wise, and I'm gonna share my screen one more time because I want to show everybody this. And yeah, so I just saw this. You Alex Zane, you did him too, and then another big one, which not a lot of people actually get, is Vicky Guerrero. I mean, that's really big. Not a lot of people get Vicky. I mean, she's definitely a hard one to get for on your like people's podcasts. So going off of that, how did you get Vicky Guerrero?
It's a trade secret, man. If I tell you guys, you're going to get her too. No, honestly and truly, I posted it. I did a post about a week before I did that interview, and it was just me being ranked 37th in Canada in the Apple Podcast charts.
Great.
And I shared it, and right above me, 36, was the Excuse Me podcast. So I shared it, and I said, "Oh, check it out! All the hard work, hustle's paid off. Number 37 in Canada, and I'm right behind Vicky Guerrero. I'm coming." And she liked the tweet, so I retweeted that she liked it, and then I hit her up on Twitter, and I just kind of said, I was very humble and honest, that I'm a huge fan of you, huge fan of your husband's. Our business is all about taking shots. And this is my shot. I'm taking it. So let me know if you're interested in sitting down with me for half an hour, 45 minutes, whatever you could spare, so we can have a conversation. And literally 2 hours later, she messaged me back on Twitter. She said, let's absolutely do it. Here's my email. Here's what we could do. We'll set it up either Zoom or Skype, whatever's easier for you. And we'll get the ball rolling. We had a little bit of technical difficulties in the beginning stages of the interview because her screen wasn't working, but then we just did the old school way of rebooting the computers, and everything worked. And the interview went off without a hitch. And she was awesome. We communicate back and forth through email here and there. And yeah, she's one of the hands down coolest people that I've ever had a chance to interview. She's one of the biggest guests that I've had on my show, and I've had a few decent sized ones for sure, but she's one of the biggest ones that I've had on my show. And I was honored for her to give me the time for 45 minutes. I mean, what more can you ask for?
Yeah. And did you get an excuse me from her? I mean, I know that's her gimmick.
Oh yeah, I got one at the beginning and I got one at the end. And I asked her, she shouted out her socials, and then I said, well, if you're not following me, you should be following me, Vicky. And she got the old school general manager attitude. I hear you, George. I hear you. And she followed me across all the platforms, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I got 2 excuse me's out of her, so I think that was a pretty positive part of the interview for sure.
Yeah. So, Jordan, go ahead.
On what? Oh. On what again?
You were gonna say something? Were you not saying something?
Oh no, I mean, I haven't gotten an excuse me yet because I'm young and we're still trying to get Vicky Guerrero. So I'm hoping one day I can probably get an excuse me from her, because I've seen that for years and years and years when she was in WWE and when she was had her clients over the years, and now she's in AEW. So I'm just waiting on an excuse me from her.
Yeah,
you'll get one. You'll get one. Just be patient. It took me 36. It took me 36 years to get one, man. You'll get one. Don't worry.
So, not obviously not gonna say excusing Vicky Guerrero, and also funny. Excusing Vicky Guerrero from this talk about what I'm about to ask. Who besides Vicky Guerrero is your biggest person to have on your podcast?
Well, I've interviewed a couple legends. Fred Ottman, a.k.a. Shockmaster, who's like one of the biggest memes and viral clips back in the early 90s, the guy who fell through the wall. I've interviewed him. I interviewed Jimmy Corderas. He was a former referee with WWE. He was actually featured in the Owen Hart episode of the Dark Side of the Ring episodes. He was actually the referee in the ring during that match. Geez, man. The kind of legends that Duke the Dumpster Drosy, old school cat from the 90s. He was a lot of fun to sit down and interview with. But also some of the younger guys, like up and coming, like Alex Zane, Madman Fulton from Impact Wrestling, Shogun, Jackson Stone, who's a newest signee for Impact Wrestling. He won the gut check That was a lot of fun to do that interview. And a lot of the people in and around the Ontario scene that have been featured in Impact but are not currently signed to Impact would be Aiden Prince, Alexia Nicole, who is one of the sweetest people in the world ever, but she can murder you in the ring 3 weeks from Sunday. Speedball Mike Bailey, he's a legend, wrestled all over the world. It's been a blessing for sure. The people that I've interviewed, Allison Kay from NWA, Zicky Dice from NWA. Really Josh Alexander, one half of the Impact Tag Team Champions. I've interviewed him twice. The list kind of goes on and on of a lot of the indie talent that I've interviewed, but a lot of the up-and-coming talent and a lot of the bigger names that are getting highlighted in the wonderful world of television. It's been a blessing kind of going after these people and getting everybody to give me the time. There were some people who wanted to give me the time but wanted, conditions, payment and stuff like that. Teddy Hart, Leo Rush. And Leo Rush didn't even want to talk to me about wrestling. He wanted to talk about his new album. And I'm just like, dude, I'm a wrestling podcast. I have nothing to do with music. I appreciate that you're trying another avenue, but I don't care about your, half-ass rap album. Sorry, just being honest. Like, I listened to a couple tracks. He's like, check out the album, and if you want to get together, my fee's $200, but we'll talk about the album.
Want to get together $200?
Yeah, exactly. I felt like it was an escort service. I was like, what? What am I paying for?
And we even tried to get a Hall of Famer, and we even got cheaper than that. Holy crap!
Yeah, no. Going on to that, we're gonna give a couple stories, and then you can give a couple stories. But question before that, I am Canadian too. So where are you in Ontario? Like Toronto?
Well, I'm based out of Brampton, the Scarborough North, if you will.
Okay, yeah.
But I rep pretty much Destiny Wrestling in Mississauga, Revolution Women's Wrestling in Mississauga. I'm affiliated with Crossbody Pro Wrestling down in Kitchener, Barrie Wrestling, Alpha One. I know those guys very well. Greektown. I mean, the list goes on and on. C4 out in Ottawa. I've kind of been in and around a lot of shows. Super Kicked. I recently just sat down with Chris Chambers, the head of Super Kicked Wrestling in downtown Toronto. I got him on the show. That episode's dropping in next week. And I'm kind of branching out more towards the state side of stuff. I just sat down with Kevin Bennett, who just dropped, if you don't follow him, you should check him out on Twitter. He dropped that Pokemon rap about 4 years ago when Pokemon Go was all super hot. And it made it to like number 4 or 5 on the Spotify charts. And he just actually dropped a Simpsons rap where he lists like over 300 Simpsons characters in about 2 minutes. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then Red Death, Daniel Garcia. I just sat down with him. Dan Parker. I got a lot of good interviews coming up, man. So it's been a lot of fun, and it's just been reaching out to people on Instagram, Twitter.
Yeah.
And the pandemic's been good for everybody, right? Because all these wrestlers are wrestling.
Yeah, definitely for the podcast groups. I mean, we could sit down every other day and just do podcasts because it's nothing else to do. But going off some stories, they're funny. We have some funny stories to tell, but we'll tell a few, and then you can tell some stories about how your podcast goes. So one of our stories was I think maybe you've heard of him because you interviewed some 90s people, 90s wrestlers. And 80s, I guess. Ricky Morton. Have you heard of Ricky Morton?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So it was funny. I mean, just like you with that, I forgot the name you just were saying. Charged you $200. We too got
Leo
charged.
Rush.
Pardon?
It was Leo Rush.
Yeah, Leo Rush. Yeah. By Ricky Morton, we got charged. We got charged a lot of money for no time. Like I think $25 to $50 for like 10 to 20 minutes, which. $50 might seem like a little to you guys, it's not a little. That's a lot for 20 minutes. But seriously, I mean, like 10 to 20 minutes. So it was funny. We're 14. We're on the younger side of the podcast groups in the community. So what we do is we usually use that this is the first time we ran into like a charge fee like to get someone on our podcast. And we weren't used to like somebody charging us. We're like, wow, we didn't expect this to happen. And I called him right away saying, oh, we're getting charged. And he's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, we're getting charged by Ricky Morton. And the Rock and Roll Express is charging us. And so we said, you know what? No, we're 14-year-old kids. We don't have $50 to spare in our pockets. I mean, we're going through a global pandemic where we need to spend money on more important things than a 10-minute podcast. So I'm sorry. I think 10 to 30 seconds later, he gets back saying, "No, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I said that. We will not charge you at all. I'm sorry. My manager feels bad. We will not charge you, and we'll do it for free." And
For 10 minutes.
yeah, and then I DM'd him or I emailed him back 2 minutes later saying, "Thank you so much. What's the time and date?" Never respond back. I told him I'm just gonna DM you on Instagram and we could go through the further process. Never responded back. So I think him hearing no money, like, hey Ricky, there's no money, and he's like, okay, don't respond. So that's a really funny story we got from there. Another story we got, I don't know if you get this from like different platforms, but we have a lot of people like DM, like weird people DM us. Do you get that a lot?
Yeah, I got that. And for a while there, I was getting like chestless shots. I even got a guy send me a dick shot, and I'm like, dude, I'm a guy. I don't know why you would do that.
My God.
Yeah, people are weird. It's because I posted a picture of I had a female talent coming on the show, and I posted that on my Instagram, and right away he sent me a dick pic, and I was like, dude,
Bro, that's just a pig.
Yeah, I was like, dude, you're a sad human being, probably sitting at home in mom's basement. You're like 47. Just do the world a favor. Stop breathing. That would be ideal.
Yeah. Why would anybody do that? I mean, that's kind of weird that a guy would send that.
That's a pig move.
Yeah, that's not really that is a pig move. That is not cool. And yeah, I mean, we for some while we had this one kid, like I think he was 9 years old, just DMing us nonstop, every single minute, saying, because we posted something on our story like 3 hours before this, saying, and we were like a week in, we were really dumb. We were saying, yeah, we were saying, oh, anybody want to work for us? Not knowing that we shouldn't be trusting people all around, to handle our account. And so there's some weird kid from across the country, I think in India, his bio said, he was like DMing us saying, oh, I want to work for you. And I'm like, perfect. What's your qualification? And he's like, I'm the CEO. And I'm like, I don't know what you're the CEO of. And he's like, the CEO of India. I'm like, you're definitely not the CEO of India. The guy responds, yes, I am. Let me on your podcast. It's been a dream of mine since I was 5. I said, no, we've been a podcast for a week. And this is not a dream of yours. We've definitely not been around for 4 years. The guy starts like harassing us, like literally sending us DM after DM, just like in all caps, like 20 of them, just like harassing us on Instagram. We're like, stop, we're going to block you. And then he starts like, I think he spammed 10 times, please don't block me. And then we blocked him. And then here's where it gets weird, which I don't condone any of this from any of our fans. Please do not do this to us. Especially go on what I'm about to say. Don't do this especially. It's very creepy. He goes onto his mom's account and yeah, he goes into his mom's account and he says, can you please follow me and can I please be on your podcast? And then we're like, dude, we know you're on your mom's account, and we block him. So that's another weird people DMing us. And yeah, do you have any stories about your interviews and like weird moments or anything like that?
Well, I mean, nothing like that. I thankfully have not had any stalkers. I've had a couple of those people on Facebook, and I just ignore those messages. But for the most part, the interviews, like I said, have been good. Everybody's given me the time of their own free will. The people that have charged me or have attempted to charge me, I haven't had on the show. And I've told them the same thing I've told you guys, even though I'm 36. I got a family. I got a mortgage. I got a lot of other stuff to focus on other than this. This is just something I do for a side hustle. And if it gets me somewhere, great. But right now, I just do it because it's fun. And because I get to have kick-ass conversations with either wrestling fans like yourself, fellow podcasters like yourself, or amazing talent that I highlight from all over Ontario, Canada, and the U.S., and some parts of the world as well. A lot of the old school talent, free will, like Barry Horowitz, I interviewed him. He sought me out. He was following the page for a little bit. He liked what I was doing. And he messaged me one day. He's like, hey, can we have a conversation? I'm like, yeah, man, you're Barry Horowitz. Oh, yeah, let's do it. So a lot of times it's been very humbling and very exciting. Even Tommy Dreamer, I got the hook up to a friend of mine for Tommy Dreamer.
Wow.
That was a great 25 minutes. It's been fun when it's stuff like that. When it gets awkward is when money's being asked to exchange. Like Leo Rush, appreciate the guy for what he was in his time in WWE and his time on the Indies for sure. But when he said, "Oh, my thing's 200 USD," it's like, cool, peace out, awesome. You're a great talent, but not worth $200, at least in my opinion. And same thing with Sabu. I had an interview lined up with Sabu, and he came to me. He's like, "Well, how much do you charge?" I'm like, "I really don't. I don't offer money for interviews. It's just time. If you want to give me the time, give me the time. Well, could you buy my book?"
Oh my God.
No, no. I mean, you're a great talent. You were one of the godfathers of ECW, 100%. If I ever met you at a show, I would absolutely pay for your autograph, pay for a picture. But I'm not going to buy your book because I really don't have any intentions of reading it. I'll be completely honest. And I never heard back from him after that, which was okay. Teddy Hart was the same thing. And Teddy Hart, after the speaking out movement, it's kind of good that, I didn't get him on the show because of all the stuff that's going on with him. I almost was able to get Joey Ryan on the show, but then a week later, speaking out happened and everything that he was doing kind of came to light. So all the people that I didn't interview, it's kind of a blessing in disguise because they've all been kind of brought under fire recently with everything going on in the speaking out movement. And I guess it was kind of an underlining blessing to not have those people on the show. And the only other funny story I would have to say would be when the internet lies to you. So you do your research episodes, you're trying to find stuff, especially on the older cats, or especially like when I sat down with Chris Chambers, it said he had a partner, somebody that was co-owned Superkick with him. So when I introduced him to the podcast, I'm like, "Hey, one half of Superkick Wrestling, Chris Chambers." And he comes right on. He's like, "Dude, I'm the only owner." And I was like,
Yeah.
This just made everything super awkward. I'm like, "Well, the internet lies." I'm like, "So talk to me about that. Talk to me about how you started it." I mean, we spun it. It was funny. He laughed. But you got to hate it when the internet doesn't give you all the honesty. And it's not like you could search anywhere else for your research on some of these people because a lot of these indie wrestlers, there's not enough research out there to do. So you just got to hope for the best. And you got to hope that the research that you found is quite factual. And it's happened a few times. When I interviewed Josh Alexander, I asked him, I was like, "Dude, it says you've had over like 600 matches." He's like, "Nah, man, I've had over 1,200 matches." Like, fucking internet.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
it's stuff like that when it happens. It gets you frustrated. But at the end of the day, people understand that you're human. People understand you're just trying to highlight this talent to bring them out to a global audience. And anybody that's given me the time, thank you. Anybody that's going to give me the time, thank you. And anybody like you guys, I mean, you're 14, you sound pretty mature. This has been a fun conversation. Thank you for highlighting me on your show. I appreciate the love.
Yeah, no, I love having you on here, man. It's a great conversation. We love having great conversations with other podcasts, seeing what they go through. But unfortunately, and Zoom, if you're you're definitely not watching this, but if you're watching me through my camera, hopefully you're not stealing my privacy. Time's up. Please change that. We only get 40 minutes because we did an hour-and-a-half podcast with somebody else, and it ran out all of our extra time that we could get from Zoom.
Yeah, that was last night.
Yeah. So we only have 6 minutes to spare. I will use 3 minutes to shout you out again, and then your other stuff, and then we're good. Yeah. So again, Straight Talk Wrestling pod. I'll just say Straight Talk Wrestling, and I'll add the podcast. The host George McKay. Go follow his personal too in his bio. Go look at podbean.com. He also has episode every Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. So also go check that out. Are you on all platforms for like podcast related?
Pretty much. You can find me anywhere. You just type in Straight Talk Wrestling on Google, and I literally pop up everywhere. I got merchandise on Pro Wrestling Tees. Anything you can support would be fantastic. Twitter, Instagram. I message back all the time. Like the post. Don't like the episode. I welcome all comments and criticisms. And YouTube. Right now I'm trying to grow the YouTube side of stuff. I only recently got into the video cast. So right now YouTube is sitting at like 33 subscribers. But I would absolutely love some more over there.
Yeah, we'll definitely shout that out. And then going on to come on. Go up. Okay, there we go. Going on to our final thing we're going to be talking about until we go to one more thing. Our YouTube page, please go follow, subscribe, like the videos, and comment. Also with George's YouTube, go do that. We have meetings, interviews. Everybody, please go watch it every single day of the week. We answer every single DM. Trust me, we really do. We have another collab probably coming tomorrow. We message so many podcasts because we love hearing their stories, and we heard about Straight Talk Wrestling podcast's story tonight. We talked about ARWP, talked about Crash and Baron, Circle Debate. We're hitting up all the podcasts, so this is good for views on our community and everybody else's community. So please go follow him and everything else. So final thing, we're gonna be going to Shop AW. Oh no, we have.
Oh God, shot of brandy.
Oh yeah, we got shot of brandy. Sorry, that was from the David Ali podcast. Don't ask why that was there. Yeah, we have the new AEW merch. We have Fight for the Fallen, SCU, if you like that, trio or tag team or solo. Scorpio Sky, talking about you. We have a Bloody Orange. We have Chris Jericho, Darby Allin, MJF, best friends with Sue in the car. Everybody shout out to Sue.
Sue.
Yep, Sue, Matt Hardy. And then we have Expensive Max, but they're the best in the company, in my opinion, and I hope in your opinion. Yeah, everybody. And then our final sponsor is going to be Anchor. Everybody, please go get to Anchor. I mean, it spreads your podcast to all platforms. Apple, Apple, iTunes, the podcast app, which I think is
Shopify.
Yeah.
Spotify. I mean,
Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, everything. So, and Twitter, you just spread it through. You link all your things and it spreads. That's the Stop Share Play. We thank you so much for being on the podcast. And guys, everybody, please go watch us. Subscribe, follow everything.